Hello, everybody. Here we are, day 9,000 of the coronavirus stay-at-home brothers and sisters with your children. I'm so excited today because I get to interview someone that I've known for a little while. I'm going to call these the Laurel Crossley Wellness Tidbits. That's what I'm calling you. Oh, yes, and I'm wearing a giant brain hat. Just in case you wanted to know. No, there's a reason for this. I am so thrilled to introduce Suzan Grace. She is the owner of Beyond the Classroom Guelph. She's a retired teacher, and she's also staying at home with a bunch of teens. Well, I think just 2 teenagers, but welcome, Suzan. How are you?
I'm great.
Are you lying?
No, I'm not. I'm great. See, I've got my pirate hat on. I'm ready to have some fun.
All right. You said you were missing some children. So we're going to behave as the children today when we do this interview. One of the reasons I wanted to talk to you today is that I see a lot on social media that parents are losing their marbles about how to continue their child's education if they are socially isolating or isolated. And also for those of us who are in, sort of lockdown, certain communities they're saying don't go out at all. So what do you think is really, what do we need to focus on as parents when it comes to our kids and education?
Well, I think, the kids are at home. They're going to get bored. They're going to drive us batty. We need to step up to the plate and entertain them. We want to school them, but if we say, you need to sit down and do this now, we're going to make their lives and our lives very challenging, probably turn it into a battle. So my advice is to somehow get them learning while you're engaging and having fun with them. I mean, we're always saying we want more time with our kids. We want more time with our family. Now we've got it. So now we have to step up to the plate and have some fun with it.
That's why we're wearing hats today.
Yes.
Because you are going to have mutiny over there on your ship. And I don't know what I'm doing with my big brain. I'm just thinking about,
sending the vibes.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Well, not many of us are teachers that are off with our kids. So what the heck? Okay, so we're going to have fun with them. Great. What are we having fun doing?
Learning.
Oh.
They're having fun learning. They just don't know that they're learning.
So this is the sneaky approach to supporting our child's education. All right. In all seriousness, and I don't know how long I can keep this brain hat on because I'm a menopausal woman and it's very hot. So I may have to take it off shortly. But, how do we do this? Like, so we don't have access to the curriculum, or some of us may have access to the curriculum. Okay, can I just backtrack a bit? What is this week?
What is this week?
Yeah, what is this week called?
It's St. Patrick's Day week?
It's March break, right?
Oh yeah, March break. I forget.
So should we not be allowing our children to have a break this week on March break?
That's okay.
Okay.
You let them have a break whenever they need it. But, one thing I'd say to parents, because you've got to have some loose structure. Don't battle down their day with you need to do this, this, and this.
Okay.
Have a loose, goosey flow. Like, okay, now we're going to go walk the dog, but make it sort of a routine. Maybe after breakfast, we're going to head out for a while. Because kids, there's nothing saying we can't get them outside. We just have to watch the distancing. Get them outside. Best thing for them, right?
And how can so getting outside, I know all the research that's coming down the pipeline about this, about how important it is to, to really further our education, both as adults or maybe not our education, but our brains, by getting outside and hanging out in nature. We're telling everybody that this is good for physical, mental, spiritual well-being of all of us, not just the kids.
Yeah.
So how could we turn our outdoor experience, something as simple as walking the dog, into something? And I guess because we're looking at kids 0 to 18, so probably our 18-year-olds aren't going out to walk the dog with us. They might.
They don't really want to walk the dog with mom.
They just don't even want to be with us, really. That's a whole other thing. But how do we turn it into a learning experience? What are we doing? What are we looking at?
I would say, like, if you've got younger kids, maybe up to age 7 or 8, send them on a scavenger hunt. Can you find me a pine cone? Can you find me a maple leaf, or find some seeds? What kind of seeds are those? They're going to get dirty. That's okay, because that's part of learning. You just come in and wash your hands, which is what you're going to have to do anyways. Now, if it's raining, splash in the puddles. See how big a splash you can get. Maybe you're going to, I got the biggest one. How many inches? How many centimeters do you think that is? Just take the opportunities. But they won't even realize that you're checking. No, do you think that's 10 centimeters, or do you think it was 25 centimeters?
Right.
Incorporate into the walk. Jump in the puddles. Pick up the leaves.
And, even, do you think, like, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about, even when I used to go out for walks, those conversations with my kids were natural, were question and answer. Why do you think? Da la 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 la. Why does that look like la 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 la?
Yeah.
And just simple things, and kids are inquisitive, don't you find? And they'll ask questions. If they're interested in something, they will research, they will ask questions. Okay, I have to take this hat off. I'm sorry. I just...
No worries. You can take your hat off.
Oh, it feels...
hat off too.
All right. Hats off to us, right?
Right.
Yeah, let's fix our hair. But, even asking questions, even engaging conversation, do you consider those learning opportunities? Yes, questions, but what about even the conversations we have with our kids?
Oh, definitely. I find with mine, if they do go for a walk with me, it's a great time to connect one-on-one. They will tell you things on a walk that they wouldn't tell you while they're sitting in their room. So if they're feeling a little anxious or upset about anything, that will come out as well. So it's a great time to open up that conversation, because right now a lot of kids are feeling a little anxious. They're playing off the stress that's everything going on. So it's a great time to say, hey, it's going to be okay. Look what we're doing today.
Yeah.
We're out for a walk. Can't get any better.
And, even a car ride. Remember good old-fashioned Sunday drives that we used to take with our families?
Yeah.
Even doing something like that.
Anything that changes it up.
Because we can still go out in our cars with our families, and I think we can even still go through a drive-through and get some something sweet or whatever, because we kind of discount that family time really is an education time.
Oh, it's so important to have time with the family. So important to build those bonds.
I'm thinking about the spaces in our homes as educational fodder, if I may. The kitchen. So how could we use, like, let's say we're told you can't go outside. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to have to, like, stick my head out windows. I don't even know if that'll be allowed. I don't know what I'm going to do, because I love being outside. But let's talk about our kitchens. How can we incorporate learning in our kitchens? It's probably fairly evident, but maybe some people need some help. So how could we use the kitchen as a source or a center for learning?
Oh, huge center for learning. I mean, just cooking. The kids have to measure. They have to learn, fine motor skills for the younger ones. Even some of the older ones could use a little fine motor tuning. They can do the measuring. They can do the blending. I mean, there's so much science in the kitchen as well. Why do the cookies change shape when we bake them? Why does the bread rise? I mean, you go online, you can find so many kitchen experiments for kids that are in there that they can do. You can do fractions. Cut up a pizza. You know, how many fractions can we make that into? What happens if we freeze half for later? Then what can we do? Like, there's so many things every day that you can do in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, like liquid to solid to gas.
Exactly.
That's one of my favorites. Not gas, but
Or
you know.
building a lemon battery. Because you can make a battery out of a lemon.
Come on.
Yeah.
I know about potato clocks. I don't know about lemon batteries.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The internet is our friend. And how do you feel? Because I know, you know, you are you're a teacher. You are you own this tutoring company, Beyond the Classroom, Guelph. How do you feel about self-directed learning? And how does one go about that?
For the kids to self-direct themselves? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Online or with
Well,
some kind
yeah.
of
How do
sort of
if
a homeschooling
because
situation?
I'm thinking about the teenagers, right? Who really don't want to listen to us anyway. And you know, how can we promote learning in a self-directed way? I think is what I'm asking.
Okay. So for teenagers, what I would do, well, actually what I've done is I've put in a daily challenge that has to go around with how can we make the environment better. So what can we do in our house? Cut down on electricity, or find me an article on, you know, the next car should be an electric car. Which one should I get? Research it for me. Put them to work on stuff that they will connect with, and then you can have them doing research. You can have them doing environmental stuff. I said, go get me some old clothes, guys. We're gonna donate. Go find 5 things. Go find 10 things. Let's get the clutter out, and at the same time, show me where we should put these. You know, like find me the map of Guelph that has these, what are they called, where you drop your clothes off, the diabetes boxes and stuff.
Right.
Right. Okay, go find it on a map. See if they're out there. Like, and just send them off on a mission. And if they can make that challenge, then it's like, great, okay, good. You got more time online, or you've got an extra of this. Whatever your kids like to do.
$10,000 cash. Probably not during this time.
It's our dreams.
Now, we've got this virus
Yes.
happening. How can we turn it into an educational opportunity?
The actual virus?
Yeah, so everybody's freaking out about the virus, right? But how can we turn what we're learning into a learning opportunity? Like what we're seeing on the news, what we're hearing, how can we get, say, our older kids to maybe investigate sort of what's happening with it? So because I know there's so much fear because we don't know a lot. Right. And so one of the ways to dispel the fear or to alleviate the fear is to get the facts. So how could we encourage children to take the virus as an educational opportunity?
That's a great question, because, you know, they're worried, because the older they are, the more they understand, right? And they know this is unprecedented. This is new ground. And this is our world. This is the world we've got now. So we have to learn to deal with it. And I would say, you know, have them come up with the facts. Find a video online. There's tons of great videos explaining coronavirus. List the facts. Say, you know what? We need to find 10 facts about how to prevent the spread. We need to find 10 facts about what frontline workers need. We need to, with younger kids, I'd say, write a letter to grandma and grandpa, let them know you're thinking about them. Little things like that. How can we help our neighbors? How can we be a better community person to make this not feel isolating? Reach out. How can we reach out to people in our community, even though we're at home, and do something to make it better for those of us that are stuck inside?
Love it. Love it. Great ideas. And I'm also was thinking in my mind, because I've got young adults, so they're in a different headspace. But I think about my little friends that are out there. And here's what I know about kids. And I would say a vast majority of kids want to do something to help.
Oh, definitely. And it takes the stress out if you can do something to help.
So how do we turn that? What ideas have you got to turn that into, like the idea of community building that you just like, let's take what you just said and add on to it. How can we do something to support our community? Could we get kids involved in that process?
Oh, definitely, supporting our seniors who are probably feeling more isolated than ever by writing them letters, drawing pictures. And these, we can drop this stuff off without having to do hand to hand to meet people. Connecting online with grandparents or aunts and uncles. Just saying, hey, I was thinking about you. What are you doing today? Or you can even do things like, we're one-on-one now. There's an app my daughter downloaded called House Party, which a lot of teenagers are familiar with. And they can literally communicate online. I was thinking of doing that with my friends this weekend. And, you could play a board game. You could play cards. Somehow you could figure out how to do that.
So I know I'm doing dinner parties.
Yeah.
And it's cool because I can't have dinner with my friends in BC, but now I can. Like, it's really challenging how I think. And I think if we could get our kids, to challenge them, what can we do to replace this activity, which then makes our brains go, whoa! And really, we can think outside the box. I think this time is really exciting. I don't know about you, but from a learning standpoint, from a creativity standpoint, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I'm thinking like way outside the box. And how would we get our children, how can we inspire our children to think outside the box? What recommendations have you got?
You know what else? They can do science experiments and post them. They can set up videos on how to do stuff. Everyone knows, if you can teach it to somebody, you know it, right? So if they figure out, I want to teach somebody how to make Play-Doh at home. So you've got a couple of 8-year-olds that want to make Play-Doh at home. That's going to appeal to the 4 and 5-year-olds. And then they're going to say, let's do this. And if they're doing it independently, that's exactly what we want to build. Independent, imaginative, caring, sharing kids, right?
You said something really to me that made my brain go, yay, peer-to-peer mentoring.
Yeah.
If older kids want to help the younger kids, we know that as the older crowd, we say things to kids and it's like, wah, wah, wah. But if it comes from a youth, if it comes from someone a little bit older than them, the children will go, oh, hello. I don't know why that is. That's so frustrating as women of our age.
But it's exactly what we want as adults. We want the kids to be mentors. We want them to take the lead because that's part of leadership. That's part of growing up. It's part of who they become when they step out and they do those sorts of things. I think it's like, as you said, we need to look at this as a way to be creative and to channel. It's going to change the way we do things. So let's get out there and move it forward and take it to the next level. And the kids are the ones that will know how to do that because it's their world.
I find it fascinating that prior to this, we were all against online learning. like that's what the teachers were fighting for. And now it's like, okay, we got to do online learning. It's like, Mother Nature went, okay, the earth went, okay, that's not important. This is important. So, and speaking of that, as a parent with kids at home, how do we let go of our antiquated thoughts and thinking and the way we've done things to embrace new ways? What recommendations do you have for parents on letting go of that?
Right, because as parents, we want to control what they do and tell them what to do. And we need to let it become sort of setting a little hint and letting them come up with it, especially with teenagers. Or like I would say, okay, we've got to do some learning, guys. Your brain's going to go to mush. So, how would you like to go about that? There's different ways we can do it. There's tons of online sites that you can go to where you can do your grammar, you can do your reading, you can do your math. And that's great if your kids will do that. Fantastic. Or maybe you need to negotiate a little bit. Oh, you do this for an hour. But you can always download sheets and get them doing that.
Right.
But really, they're going to get bored. They get bored with that. You need to be creative and say, okay, so you can always check out the curriculum, but maybe you want to say, okay, take all these geometry shapes and build something with it. Build me a city. Come up with blueprints or something. Build me a map. Get me this. Write the end of a play. Write a brand new play. Act it out.
It sounds like what you're suggesting is, instead of focusing on individual lessons, maybe we take the approach of looking at a project, which has all the elements of what is in our current curriculum. The output's going to be magnificent. I'm getting goosebumps talking about this. So all the aspects of learning are in there: the reading, the research, the presentation, the creation, the creativity. So it incorporates all those elements. But if we focus more on a project that incorporates all that, it eases some of the, okay, days, it's math time. Okay, it's science time. It's this. So instead, maybe over that time frame, have a project that we're focusing on.
Right.
Like,
it doesn't have to be like 5 hours, sit down, structured time. It can be,
right.
Let's see what we can come up with now.
Right.
Maybe think about it, because you're going to come up with new things as you think and stew on it.
Right. And maybe what worked and what didn't work. Well, before we got on the call, I was in the bathroom where I do my best thinking. I always laugh when I say that. But I was leafing through a magazine, and it had how to build a cat house, a house for a cat, your pet, out of a cardboard box. And I went, well, that would be interesting if we could build a house. And then, and just that little project could be used in so many ways.
Yeah.
Like, what types of weather can your house support? You're throwing water on it in the bathtub, and it's disintegrating. Well, that obviously doesn't work, but there's so many ways you can do this. And what recommendations, because we've just got a couple minutes here, would you make for parents so that we can get them a little more calm? What are some strategies that you think we need to suggest to parents who are like just losing their minds right now? How do we get them a little more calm about this?
I think we need to remind ourselves that this is the time we've always said we want. Right? And not look at it like we're all feeling the stress of what's going on. And we need to take a deep breath and say, I'm going to find the good in this. I'm going to turn it into something really great for my family. And that alone will be like, oh, yeah, okay, so maybe we should sit down and play a board game. Okay, but now, you know what, guys, now we've done that. I need to go do my adult stuff now. Like, you need to do some degree of separation between, you can't entertain them all day. It's okay for kids to get bored. It's okay for them to come up with their own things to do. They want to, sit down and draw for half an hour. Well, you go do your adult email answering or calculations, whatever you need to do. That's okay. We just need to take it all in stride. Everything's got to kind of flow differently when you're at home with your kids. You still have to do your work, but maybe you pick and choose. And it depends on the age of your kids as well.
Right.
So,
And on that note, boredom, when
yes.
children are bored, that is when their creativity, in my opinion, is heightened.
Oh, definitely.
Everything's heightened because they've just recognized, uh-oh. And that's when the great thoughts and thinking happen.
Oh, definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I know it's a trying time for all of us, but your suggestions were just so really lovely and thoughtful. And, I think we need to really, really come together to help our kids. I mean, that's my whole goal, is to help the children, primarily help the children, and then help the parents to help the kids and stuff like that. So thank you so much for joining me today. Good luck with your teens at home, and you're clearing out your house. What is it, Marie Kondoing something? What's that person's name? I don't know. The extreme letting go of things.
We're going to try and do some decluttering.
Nice. Will you do that over there? I'm going to add to my clutter over here. I'm just kidding. I'm not. All right. Thank you so much for this. All right. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.